Qal Passive. This is a form, a binyan, that is important to know about. What happens here is that it's a form that looks like the pu'al in the perfect. So we have lukach, kubad, same form, right? U and then patach with the doubling of the second radical, same thing here. So it looks like the pu'al in the perfect, and it looks like the hofal in the imperfect. So we have yukach and we have yusach. But for a number of reasons, grammarians think that it actually shouldn't be called either a pu'al or a hofal, but it should be called a passive qal. And here are the reasons. One of them is that when you move into other forms, like the participle, for instance, you see forms that don't look like either pu'al or hofal. So this one here, yulad, doesn't have the meme. And if you go to your strong verb table, or any of verb tables actually, you'll see that meme marks the participle for all binyanim except for qal and nifal. So if it doesn't have a meme, then it probably isn't either pu'al or hofal, because they would have the meme there. So that argues against it being one of these two. Another thing is that lakach is a form that acts like first nun. This is nasach, and we see nun has assimilated, lakach has assimilated. But the lamed does not assimilate like the nun does in anything other than qal. At least there's no evidence of that. So that would speak against it being a hofal. Okay? Lamed normally only assimilates in the qal, and here it looks like the hofal, but that would argue against it being a hofal. Another thing is the meaning, and maybe I should turn to my chart or my text here for that. So it looks like a pu'al or hofal, but the meaning does not fit a pu'al. It's not factative, denominative, intensive, etc. And it doesn't fit the hofal, causative, denominative, or declarative. The meaning of these forms sounds like a passive qal, which is why they call it a passive qal. Just a regular straight qal meaning, but in the passive. Okay? And, well, it looks like the pu'al in the perfect, hofal in the imperfect. So, pu'al in the perfect, these two are the same, look the same. This one, by the way, this is tzava, so it's third hey. So that's what the yud is there, but you can see that it looks the same. It looks like this one looks like it's a pu'al. And it looks like the hofal in the imperfect. The lamed of lakach assimilates. Right? We see it here. It is assimilating in this form that we're calling passive qal. And normally, that is something that only happens in the qal. The lamed only assimilates in the qal. So that is evidence that this is in fact a qal form, not a hofal form. And the participle does not have the prefix mem. I just talked about that. Only the qal, actually nefal as well, but not the pu'al or the hofal have the mem. So that would argue, again, that it's a qal. Everything's pushing towards qal. Therefore, these forms are called passive qal, and I've found 86 of them. So every once in a while, you're going to run across a form. It looks like a pu'al, and if you look it up in a text that tells you what that form is, or you look it up in some software like Accordance, then you'll find them calling it a passive qal. So it's good to know what passive qal is, because you're bound to run into it. So passive qal, that's what we had here.